Hello, friends. Welcome to your winter solstice ceremony. Thank you so much for being here with me. It is such a pleasure and joy to create this for you. So thank you for receiving it. Here's the intention for today's ceremony is I'm pre-recording this for you so that you can create this in your own time and space. I think this is a ritual that's very beautifully done, just one-to-one. One-to-many, I think, is wonderful as well, but I'm really feeling the one-to-one this year in particular. This is a ceremony that's basic components you can use pretty much for any, winter solstice. And the reason why to zoom out a little bit and give you guys a preamble, I've been doing this for a few years, and I find it to it's become my own symbolic welcoming of the new year. So instead of I love me a good New Year's party and the hustle and bustle and whatever it looks like, whether it's with people or it's just you and someone else or it's just you and it's that countdown at midnight. That's always exciting, and yet I really love the idea of just sitting in my own energy and space and solitude, and dialing up the magic for some divination into the year ahead. And solstice is a really wonderful moment to do that in, because we're transitioning. It basically marks the beginning of Capricorn season, which is the season that starts the year. And so there's this sort of initiation quality about the moment. It also comes from Sagittarius into Capricorn. So it's that shooting of that fire arrow into a space where we can actually set things in motion, which is a very Capricornian quality. And it's this night of interplay between the light and the shadows and the darkness and the sort of standstill. And that's why it's really beautiful to do it at that time. If I've acquired anything, like I typically do a piece of jewelry, for example, for my word of the year, I will start wearing it on that day because it really becomes, again, my initiation point of the energies of the year ahead. And I still have, a few days to continue to love up on 2023, but it's just my symbolic turning of that into the new chapter. This is a practice that you can also do to transition between like maybe months or even quarters if you're looking at it from a business perspective. So I'll leave that for you guys to play around with. But today we're going to focus on the energies of the solstice. So I'll open up the ceremony and, we'll sit and we'll call in that particular energy. And while, yes, you can replicate this next solstice, I will probably create, if we're still in a format like this, I'll create another video for that, specific to the transition between 2024, 2025, because every year will have its own distinct energy signature. And so I'm also going to talk about some of the particular energetic things that we're working with today, meaning December 21st in particular. What will you need? I recommend having a candle. I'm going to have mine here. Something to cleanse your space today. I'm going to be relying on a little chime, a little bell. Here we are. To open up and cleanse my space. But whatever you have that's handy, you're going to need, I recommend having two sets of oracle cards. When I do this myself, I'll pick an oracle card deck that I'm really feeling connected to for the year ahead, that feels optimistic and feels expansive and feels and which I feel like when I get the messages, it's a very kind of clear directive. Interesting word, right? It's a clear sort of like, this is it. Obviously, everything's open for multiple layers of interpretation, especially when it comes to divination and symbols and all that. But I love decks that have like a clarity to them. So I'll be using the Sacred Destiny Oracle by Denise Linn. For years, I used another Denise Linn deck also, which I love. That's also very, I forgot what it's called, Soul Coaching Oracle, I think it's called. It's the very first deck I ever bought. So who knows, maybe I'll pull that out for this year as well as a little bonus. And I also use my tarot deck when I do my own personal ceremony for it. I'm just going to be using the one deck today. I encourage you to do two. The reason I'm using one is because you can see this as part of the divination for the year ahead. So it's half like me giving you an example and doing the pacing and the rhythm of the ceremony so you can follow along with me. And also just make note of the cards that we pull because these then support, the intention is to support all of us. I'll be doing my own separate ritual with the cards for myself later on. And um, what do I do after? I will take pictures of all the cards that I get. I'll lay them out. So you pick one, a distinct one for each month, lay them out, then take pictures of all of them. What I've done before is I've printed out little pictures and put them on my journal and my calendar. I will also write on my month-to-month calendar the word that I got or the card that I got at the beginning, at the top of the month, so that every time that I'm entering a new energetic month space, then I have that there handy and ready to go. And then I will also pull a card to represent the year's energy. I'll do that at the very end. For that, I will usually pull all the cards back into the deck and allow that to be, because it could be an energy that repeats, that encompasses everything. So it just feels more holistic when you're pulling for the year to bring all the cards back into the deck. What will you need? Very simple, just your card deck. Have your phone handy to take pictures, something to write with. We're going to be holding space for a letter that we're going to write, a goodbye letter for 2023 and a hello letter for 2024. How long those letters are, it's really entirely up to you. You can set yourself a timer for maybe like 10 minutes. What you can do with this video is that, I'm going to go a little bit faster in the video format itself. So just feel free to pause whenever you need to pause to breathe space into it, right? Don't feel like you have to rush along. You can make it as fast or as slow and expansive as you want to. It's entirely up to you. But if you want some guidance around how much space to hold for those letters, I would say about 10 minutes each. Maybe you want to give yourself 20 minutes. Who knows? But I think timers work so that our mind can have that space to play in, and have it be as intuitive, sort of like the non-edited type of writing as possible. Just have it flow. And what that looks like. One of my favorite tips to follow is, you set your timer, you take a breath, you put pen to paper, and you start writing. And if at first you're like, I don't know what to write, you literally write, I don't know what to write. I'm sitting here on December 21st solstice and I'm watching this video, and somebody suggested that I write a letter for 2023, but I'm not quite sure what to say. I bet you that even if you're just writing what's in your mind, the floodgates will open up. The faucet will open. Sometimes it just takes a little bit for that. The faucet might be a little bit stuck if we're not used to doing this type of writing. Just maybe the faucet will open and then you can release. So letters, oracle decks, the cards that we pull, it's both some divination, right? So we are actually calling in insights and divination of what could happen in the year ahead. There's parts sort of like a beautiful exercise of intuitive crystal ball and just looking ahead to see. It's a wonderful way to practice that aspect of opening up to our intuitive and channeling abilities, if that's something that you're interested in. It could also just be like a guidance marker for the month. And it could also, maybe weave itself into a story, which may not be evident until you start actually living the year. Kind of like what happens when you have your word of the year. Speaking of your word of the year, I absolutely recommend that you weave that word, theme, intention into your ceremony in some way. Just having it top of mind, have it in your heart, write it, when you're going to say your hello 2024 letter. Think about your word if you had one for 2023, or the energy, the theme that you had, called in for that year, and include that as well. Those are also great prompts to, open up the faucet. So I think I'm good with sort of the introduction. I'll invite you to take a breath with me as we begin to settle into a space of contemplation and peace and If you're feeling any sense of overwhelm, frazzled, disconnected, know that this will provide a wonderful opportunity for you to reconnect back in a very easeful way. You get to have immense trust in yourself. You get to play. You get to play. You get to trust. You get to not hold back. And receive the messages that you yourself will be calling forth. Let me grab I don't know where I put my lighter. 1 second. Here we are. Okay, so light the flame, which the element of fire is incredibly important in this moment in time. And I'll share with you guys a few of the reasons why. I think it's really awesome to be mindful of that as we're doing our divination for the year ahead, because part of it is just infusing what we're sitting with right now. So I light this candle as a symbolic opening of our space together, imagining if this is the cosmic bonfire that sits in the center of your heart and the center of the space that you are cultivating to explore, experiment, to play in, to allow your intuition to take center stage, to quiet the practical mind. I'm going to leave our mind as an observer, putting it to the side, because then the mind will take on the beautiful task of, well, what do I do with this information? That's later. That's how we employ the mind as a tool, as a projector for all the things that come through, the opportunities. I ring the spell to signify an opening of a space that is ripe with potential, possibility, opportunity, ease, harmony, love, hope. The light that you have within you is more ready than ever to light the path ahead for yourself and for others who might also benefit from the light that you bring. I invite us to take a breath together here, you and I. Settling into this moment, continue breathing nice and easy, gentle breaths. As we begin to connect with the energy centers in our body, and just beyond our body, but in our energy field, we begin noticing the Earth Star chakra about a foot beneath our feet. So whether you're sitting or you're laying down right now, just imagine that from the earth below, there is this pulsing energy orb connected to you and connected to the earth. And you're going to feel that energy being drawn from the bottom of your feet, through your legs, through your root chakra, through your sacral chakra. As it lands in each of the chakras, it makes them pulse and glow. We land in our soul star. Soul star. That's later. We land in our solar plexus. Interesting. I love that connection. Solar plexus. And right here, there is a particular point of radiance that we want to call in, because we're going to swirl the energies from the Earth Star chakra and the Soul Star chakra, which we will become aware of in a moment. They're going to swirl in this spot, and they're going to help us activate every other chakra in our body as well. The soul star, I keep saying soul star. I love it. This solar plexus chakra that is clearly a big soul connective tissue for this year ahead. And, we've been talking about this Aries energy. Well, this is ignition, spark, sun, breath. Also connected to Leo, of course. Fire energy. We're sitting in a lot of fire energy. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Specifically, Aries and Sagittarius are playing a really big, beautiful, wonderful role during this 2023 solstice. Let's place our awareness and consciousness into our heart chakra, softening, finding the courage and the softness to exist with an open heart. Moving to our throat chakra, and imagine again that you are fueling from the earth star chakra, depositing your every point that we stop is pulsing with this new energy, renewal. Certain chakras may feel more alive than others, and that's okay. Just notice moment by moment what you're experiencing. You don't have to force anything. You just softly pay attention and go, okay, I see you. I'm here. Moving our consciousness to our third eye, this incredible point of divination, imagination, and vision beyond what is here in form in the here and now. Shifting our consciousness to the crown chakra. How will you crown yourself this particular year ahead? Do you need to adjust your crown? And not just the crown that speaks of Leo and your courage as a leader, but also the crown that connects you to the cosmos. Have you been placing the crowns on other people rather than yourself? How do you get to look towards yourself as the main player in your life? You are the center of your universe, and from you, everything else radiates. And then we're going to zoom our energy up to the soul star chakra, which is above our heads. I love if you put your arms up and you just snap your fingers, that's about the place where we can focus our consciousness. And again, these are ways where we can really begin to get in touch with the energy body and notice the shifts of going from chakra to chakra, of paying attention to different parts of the body. The soul star chakra is very much connected to our soul essence, to the cosmos, to just everything that is in the realm of the unknown and the liminal. And so imagine energy also pouring in from there. You're pulling it in, you're drawing it in, and it is also going to inform and intermingle with the earth energy that you pulled from the earth star chakra. So earth star, soul star chakra are each infusing from their own directions, and they basically begin to create this swirl in the solar plexus. Solar plexus, the center. Allow them to swirl and then just see the rays kind of radiate out. Extend your energy beyond your physical body. Breathe in light and breathe out everything that you're ready to release from this year. I'm going to do that again. We're going to breathe in light and breathe out. Exhale everything that you're ready to release from this past year. And now that we're in the space, we're going to zoom up, 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 up. And we're going to take a look at what came up for me, the phrase is the imprint of your life this past year. The imprint. What is the imprint that you made? So when you zoom up, it's almost like you're looking at yourself from this different vantage point, and all of the different connections and pockets of experience. So, it's almost like all these lines that extend out and then connect you to different groups in your life, family, friends, work, different groups that you're a part of, where you've had an impact, and wherever you've been, whether you feel like, oh, I've made an impact or not. The word impact is basically like you have shifted the energy everywhere you've gone. Sometimes we're conscious of it, and most times, we're not even conscious of it. So we want to become more conscious of that. So we move and walk through our life, understanding that beautiful impact that we have, which of course brings the sense of opportunity and responsibility. And so when you zoom up, look at the imprint from this past year. What does it feel like? Are there any points that seem to call your attention more, that seem to kind of light up a little bit more? And are there any points that seemed to feel like a drain, heavy, harsh? And by the way, it doesn't even mean that things that have been hard by our human hard standards have to feel heavy. The hard things actually may feel quite luminous because of how you've moved through them. So feel free here to disregard the old school sort of pattern notions that we have about what is in the light and what is in the shadows. And something that you may have perceived was actually quite positive in your life. Maybe right now you're feeling like, oh, that kind of sucked my energy. And so just look at it with interest, with curiosity, and know that you've had a part to play in this imprint. And this can help inform the letter that you're going to write to 2023 as a thank you and a goodbye. And it can also inform where you want to move and shift the energy moving forward. Do this exercise honestly, vulnerably, authentically, and with a lot of love and grace in your heart. And so now we'll drop back down into our physical body. We're going to draw all of that energy in, the energy that we extended out from our core, this energy that's now been cleansed and has been recharged. Any tethers and old stuck things have been released and removed and just cleansed so beautifully. Believe it so. Believe it to be so. Pull the energy back in. Take a breath. Settle back into your body. And now you're going to sit and write your thank you letter to 2023. It could look like a letter, it could look like other things, but I think a letter is beautiful and it can help you tell the story as well. So consider it doing that way. You can pause the video here. Give yourself time to create the letter. As we continue on, once you're complete with your 2023 letter, you want to read through it, just keep it. What to do with this letter, you can keep it in your journal to read in the future. You can burn it if you would like to. That's entirely up to you. It's up to how you're feeling right now. Keep it around, see what you want to do with it later, and look at the year from a place of gratitude. And now you're going to grab a fresh piece of paper and you're going to practice some divination around 2024 in letter form. Each one of us will have our own ways of connecting with this future tendrils of possibility, these little like threads that start to peak. do it from a space where you're not writing about your goals, what I want to do this year. This is not that kind of letter. This is more a letter of how do you feel like you 2024? What do you feel like? And when I've written these letters in the past, I've described things in colors, textures, words, phrases, energies. You have a full canvas to play with this in this particular way. So it's breathing in and just stepping in for a moment and going, 2024, what do you feel like? What do you feel like? And how do I feel walking into your energy field and now being a part of that story? But really, how do you feel? So again, if you want to pause this video and take a moment to write your letter to 2024. Imagine this one I think you definitely want to keep, because it can be part of your ritual for next year, where you read the letter to 2024 and you go, oh, how did this match up? Give yourself that space of a whole year to see, And over time, especially if you want to develop these more of the, get intuitive divination muscles, this is a space where you get to practice your craft. You get to practice receiving, and you get to leave that ample space to kind of check and validate, like, oh, the hits I got. Where was I like, wow, like really, that was accurate. And where was it like a flavor of? And what was something that you were like, wow, I didn't really hit that mark. But that's okay. And now I am, again, grabbing my cards as we're going to get ready to pull these for the months ahead. And again, I remind you that I'm doing this both as an example to hold space here in the ceremony for you to do your version of this with your deck or decks that you've chosen. Don't pick more than 2 decks, because then it's a lot. So streamline yourself. No FOMO, no like, oh, well, what if I'm missing information? No. You're getting exactly what you need. And we have, okay. Even before I said January, I was just shuffling and then just this one popped out, which is just, like, can't make this stuff up. New beginnings. New beginnings. I want to call out the oranges and reds in this card, because as we sit in contemplation of this card, which, again, focusing on those new beginnings of that fire, that spark. Aries, the first sign of the zodiac. New beginnings. That is the new beginnings card. We've been working in the North Node of Aries. If you've been here, this is a refresher, but it's worth repeating, because we have an opportunity here to understand something at a very, very deep, core, embodied place and level, that even if you think you've already gotten it, I bet we haven't gotten it. We're going to get it if we're open to the lessons. So we've been working with the Aries North Node since the midpoint of 2023. We're going to be working with the North Node in Aries all of 2024. January of 2025 is when the nodes will shift once again, and we'll have a whole other story to work with. I want to point out a couple of things that I noted. So early in the morning of solstice of 12/21, we're talking about 8:52 a.m. Eastern time, the moon will be in Aries, and it will be conjunct, holding hands specifically and precisely with the North Node in Aries at 22 degrees. The moon moves around very quickly. The nodes know. But the fact that we have this literally like dawning in the beginning of the day on solstice, at least, in this part of the world, but regardless, it is a preamble to solstice, which I will give you that the exact time for the solstice, this is marked by the sun's arrival in Capricorn, is 10:27 p.m. Eastern time. Make your calculations. But in the morning at 8:52 a.m. Eastern time, the moon will be in Aries holding hands with the North Node. So talk about a new beginning, a start. This is beyond beautiful. When I saw this morning, I was like, oh my God. When these things happen to me, it is truly like cosmic poetry of the best kind. We've been working with Aries, and the other day I was sitting in contemplation in a channeling space with the moon and with Saturn. There's a whole big, beautiful Saturn conversation in Pisces this year, which we also get to talk about because that is the place where we will be bringing our dreams into form and in big ways, an opportunity to work with Saturn in that way. So I'm talking to the moon and Saturn as you do, and I really got this sense, and a lot of it has to do with the work that I'm meant to do in the world, but layered with the opportunity, right? Layered with the moon as this really powerful ally to work and heal our mind space. Moon and mind. The moon is going to help us work through the struggles or the stuck energy that we have that is bound in the mind. The mind is the projector of your life. So the light that comes through the projector and then is meant to basically like literally project the image of your life out everywhere you go radiates from within you. So soul, spirit, that creativity comes out through there, through the projector of the mind. One of the things that became so evident to me during that channeling with the moon is that everything that we bring into form in this lifetime, in this earth plane, earth realm, everything comes through the realm of the mind. Everything. The brain. Like I'm talking about the brain. The brain as the holding space for everything, every tool that we have to bring our creativity into the world. Speaking, writing, creativity, like artwork, reading. Essentially, if a human is brain dead for whatever reason, their spirit is absolutely having a really profound conversation. They are there. That's beyond the realm of our human understanding, truly. That is the felt experience. That is when we're tapping into our intuition. But if we do not work with the resource of the mind as a tool and as the projector, and we do it in a way that we really, heal it and bring it into the fold in a different way, we're going to miss out on what we can create because everything runs through there. And so the connection with the moon and the mind, the moon, basically working with the moon is like the metronome for the soul is the message I got. You know what a metronome is? When somebody's playing music. Music is a great example of certain, you have a specific form, like not a formula, but you have a timing, you have a rhythm, you have a beat. And within that beat, so many incredible things can be created. So the moon, in its rhythms, in its new, full, and obviously all the phases in between, but let's just focus on new and full. That means that we're going to have 26 opportunities next year. And by the way, as I was sitting creating our moon calendar for 2024, every month, doesn't always happen. It certainly didn't happen in 2023, but every month it's like very beautifully, rhythmically laid out because you have new moon, full moon, like chronologically. Sometimes they swap depending on the time. Sometimes like chronologically in the month, you might have a full moon before the new moon. And that's all good. But this year, it's very organized. It's very Saturnian. So Saturn loves that. So Saturn connected with the moon. This is what we're talking about. And the concept that I'm bringing forth on like the carousel, which is the space of your Like, what are you choosing to bring commitment to, consistency to? That's a concept that is like, another woven in to work with. But new beginnings, that moon holding hands conjunct with the North Node in Aries is saying new beginnings and spark new things. And let's do it in a rhythmic way. And I'm going to help you so that your mind is primed to make incredible things happen. Not just make incredible things happen, but the moon, and I think there's a bunch of things that are basically saying, I want your mind to be so primed to move through obstacles, to move with resilience, to move through adversity. Because the other message I keep getting time and time again has to do with the swords in the tarot. Swords are mental energy. It's the mind. This is going to be a year where we will absolutely need to be in a place where our mindset is one that is primed for bringing us forward. And many times, the way to get yourself out of a funk or stuck, it's yes, we bring in all these incredible tools that we have around our magic. Like, this is why I do this work, because it's got to work together. It's got to be in a balance and synchronicity, or equilibrium, actually. But our mind will be vital. Care for it. All right. New beginnings. What I will also share, that while those two are having that conversation, which is super potent that morning, they're in conversation with Mars in Sagittarius. Okay. We have the sun still in Sagittarius before the very, it's called the anaretic degree, the very last degree of Sag before it enters Capricorn. Mars is in Sag, and it is having a very favorable conversation with the node and the moon. And think about, Sag, we talk about arrows. We did part of the word of the year exercise and ceremony had to do with shooting that arrow, because we did it with the Sagittarius new moon energies. And Mars has what? An arrow, literally an arrow. Mars and Aries work together, play together. Sag is a fire sign. Mars is very happy in Sag because it wants to explore and it wants to make things happen, and it literally wants to shoot that fire arrow. So that is what we're like, that is the fuel we're working with. Now, are we going to let that fuel be squandered? Wherever you are hesitating, wherever you are questioning yourself, wherever you are still kind of like, just kind of like in that energy, let's rip the Band-Aid off right now. Just let's not. Let's not be in that. I know that sounds like easier said than done, but we're going to miss out. And you know it. Just be honest with yourself. We all have that thing that we've been putting off, that we've been kind of turning in our head, that we've been like, well, blah, 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 blah. Enough. That has to change. Oh, okay. Let's pull for February. I'm not going to go into such detail for each month. That was just like, part of the kickoff. Okay. February. I already know we have an incredible new beginnings card for January. So go ahead, and if you've already done your cards for January, great. February, we have simplicity. We have two, actually. Both came out together. And how appropriate for our classic definition in February, right? Simplicity and love. Simplicity and love. How are you going to love yourself through these new changes that we're going to be going through? Are you going to love yourself enough to not only spark yourself, really get your butt in gear, but do it in a way that you're really use the tools you've learned up until now. The feeling I keep getting is that there are a bunch of us, and I'm so including myself in this conversation, by the way. Um, there are many of us that have been playing for a while, and it's just we're like graduating. It's like, okay, we've been growing, right? But there's certain things that we're still kind of like playing in the little kid sandbox, and because we don't want to dip our toe in too much, and what if I do, we're afraid, and all the hesitation pieces, right? Like that is not serving us. So let's get clear on our gifts. Let's get clear on our astrology. Let's get clear on our ancestors, the lineage gifts that we have. Let's do the work to bring in the soul threads. That's a lot of what I'm going to be focused on doing when I do my one-on-one sessions this year, which are going to be like amplified in a way that I'm taking myself, and I share this with you so that you can take on this energy also in your own way. I am taking myself up to bat in a whole new way. Like, okay, great. I'm there. I am here. I'm going to put myself in because I know that I can. I've been hesitating with certain things. And these are the honest conversations that I have all the time. And I'm getting my own like resourced to, okay, where do I need to go to take myself there? Making those pivotal changes. March, another 2 cards. For March, we have Gateway. One of my favorite cards, of course. And Patience. Gateway and Patience. Okay, this, I've been talking about a new dawn breaks being one of the core themes for 2024, and a lot of that energy is really sparking, no pun intended, crashing down to a life near you via lightning bolts in April. These are the kind of lightning bolts that are future visioning, big, bold, juicy. Just be like, whoa, okay, what is going to shake and rumble that is going to catapult me and quantum leap me into the next all of a sudden? So I get to develop the patience. The patience. I also feel like wisdom in this card, wisdom. And then gateway. So if March is a gateway to April and the energies that are going to be shifting in that way, why? Okay, April 20th, we have this Uranus conjunction with Jupiter. And Uranus and Jupiter both speak a similar language, but Uranus does it in a way where it's very like freedom seeking. It's the rebel, the lightning bolt possibility to really take you from your conditioned self to what is your essence. And Jupiter is this big, expansive planet, also connected to lightning bolts in its own way, connected to Sagittarius, connected to that like forward momentum. So both of these planets get together in the sky in the sign of Taurus, where we've been working with. We had our North Node in Taurus in the last cycle. So watch the sparks fly in that particular area. April. April, 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 April. Let's see what we got. Security. Interesting. Security. Yeah, I mean, how are we secure in our own? So yes, cave, fire, cave, stars, the safety of being kind of like, what is sort of familiar. I'm also drawn to the cave drawings here, which speak of storytelling, of new, of the element of storytelling, the element of bringing images into form, illuminating that, bringing those images into form, honoring our past also, where we've come from. Are we secure in ourselves? Are we secure in our tribe, in our community? April. Let's go to May. For May, we have protection. And, well, what do we have here? The lightning bolts from April. So, again, the story of security, protection. This is by no means, this aligns well to you watch that 2024 video about a new dawn breaks, keyword breaks. A lot of that came up there, and I said there, and I will say again, this is not about fear of what's coming. We get to walk into this year fearless, and this is about, okay, great. How will I be ready? Do I trust myself? And the answer is, I want you to just say, yes, I trust myself. Not question mark. Yes, I trust myself. I declare that in this year ahead, I get to trust myself more than I ever have before, period. And then you work from there. Not, oh, well, if I do this and that, then I'll trust myself. No, I trust myself, and then I walk in. Security, and then protection. Again, I'm coming into the sense of, your own sense of protection, but also definitely community, tribe, nature, being protected underneath something that has foundations. One of the things that came up in the new moon video, I'm connecting the dots here, had to do with the foundations of that which has already been established, and how, as we are in this midst of a new dawn breaks and new things that are emerging, there are certain things like, the story of our ancestors, like the lineage of humans, right? And this incredible tree and its legacy and its deep roots, that are things that are foundational, that will also give us safety. So let's not automatically assume, it's almost like not get into this frenzy of like, oh, we're going to new, great. It's like, no, there are things. It's the energy of that protective father that embraces you. Yes, we have the energy of the mother that nourishes and shields and brings safety, but there's this protective paternal energy where you get to see it, and also, within yourself. We all have that duality within us, and if we're lacking it, then we get to work through how to find that sense of steadiness. That steadiness that the traditional paternal masculine energy provides. June. By the way, this video is turning out to be way more juicy than I thought. June, we have inner peace. Inner peace in June. That's nice. This feels both a respite, like, okay, we're here, and also a calling of, how will you cultivate your inner peace? This is it's up to you. It is up to you. It is up to you. It is up to you. That's also this self-advocacy conversation, which huge, massive theme. It's up to you. How does that feel? It's exciting, and also like, oh shit, it's up to me. Yeah, it is. 100%. You don't have to do it by yourself. I'm not saying do it by yourself. Do it, be a lone wolf. Do it in isolation. But I am saying it's up to you. Okay. July. Yeah, this is a way juicier video than I expected. So it's awesome. I thought we were just going to kind of go through the motions. Abundance. These two cards, June and July, have similar colors, a similar sort of flowy vibe. One is in the, water realm, and one is more like the flower earth realm, but the sense of abundance, and again, twofold. When we look at the dynamic of it's up to you with that Aries North Node conversation, who are you? And the little arrows, remember I've talked about these little arrows that were going from like, oh, if we perceive the world through like, oh, the energy is kind of coming this way and I react, we are now always intending for the energy to go like, because I radiate. It doesn't mean I'm losing my energy. It just means that the direction is like that way. It's more empowered. You're holding your torch forward, lighting the way, warming you, warming others, lighting the way. But it is here and going out, not out coming in. So abundance. Am I expecting my abundance to go like this, or am I expecting it like this? Same with inner harmony, inner peace. It's not this. It's not I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the world. I'm crossing my fingers so that. That reactive sense of being is very disempowering. And we do it a lot because we've been conditioned to do it. But let's change the tape. Let's just change that dynamic. Like, done. Let's do it. Okay. August. Transformation. That's why I love these cards, because they're so beautiful and they're so like, boom. Transformation. After the breakdowns and the, just that breath. What is it that we really want? Like, who are you really? And that just involves everything. Your definition of success, your definition of what makes you everything. And transformation. And don't grip the transformation, allow it to unfold. And it will probably look different and more luminous than what we expected. September. Let's go to September. Forgiveness. And remember, if hopefully you've been pulling your own cards along the way, pausing and unpausing as you go. If not, awesome. Now you have a blueprint to do it yourself if you want to do it. October. October, we have thriving. Oh my God, this card is so magnificent. I haven't gotten this card many times before, and it's really, really beautiful. Not just the giraffes, but the pinks and the lights and everything. Thriving. October, thriving. November 2024 feels like a world away. Courage. Things are going to look so different November 2024. Like, it's going to be like one of those things where we look back and we go, how has it only been like a year? And now we're sitting here like, whoa, just viscerally like different. And a lot of it will absolutely have to do with how you call yourself forward into the conversation with courage. Like, yes. So it's up to you. It's up to me. It's just it. And this isn't like I want to just clarify, this isn't it's up to me, like this sort of martyr conversation. Let's be mindful not to fall into that, because that is South Node, Libra. That is nobody else is going to do it. It's up to me. No. We get to give everybody else their own. It's up to you. Not like it's up to you and good luck, but you get to hold your torch, and you get to hold your torch, and you get to hold your torch. And sometimes you will absolutely need somebody to come in and help you with that torch. This torch conversation came up in a really beautiful podcast I was in recently, which I'll definitely share with you guys. where this torch concept came up, having connected directly to the whole Aries conversation, the self-advocacy piece. So I expand a lot more on that there. But sometimes you need somebody to help you hold it. Absolutely. But it is your torch. And so let's not go at it from the perspective of, well, that's like a martyr, victim. It's kind of like layered with a guilt trip of, well, nobody else is going to do it. I'm going to do it. And that's not the vibe. That's not the vibe. So if you find yourself kind of stepping in that direction, go, where's that coming from? That simple question can illuminate so much. Where's that coming from? And write it down. Write it down as a way of processing. December 2024. Let's see. Truth. December 2024, the card of truth. This to me feels like Taurus energy. This feels like that, like exhale. It feels like, like feet on bare grass and dirt. Taurus. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to write, before I put them back in the deck, I'm going to write month by month. So you can do the same while I'm doing this. And right now I'm just capturing them so that later I can pull them. What you can do after is pull them out again, take your pictures, read. If you want to read through the little booklet, I highly encourage you to just see what you pick up from the card. That's part of the divination journey, is to use the symbols and see what you receive without necessarily relying on the card itself. And by the way, speaking of, if there's another way that you want to do this, like runes or anything else, like, needless to say, feel free. May we have protection. And then June we had inner peace. Notice the conversations that you're having in your head about the cards that were pulled. August, we have transformation. September, forgiveness. October, thriving. November, courage. November and December, truth. Okay. Now that I've done that, I'm going to pull them all back together so that we can pull a card for the entire year. So we ask for a card, a message, a theme that illuminates our year ahead. Is there something that we need to know, could know about, that will support us, embolden us, encourage us, and motivate us to walk with our head held high, our third eye beaming, our heart open, our hands open. We are ready, receptive, and grateful for this insight that we are about to receive. The deck isn't sure what to give us yet. Oh, this is great. Okay, okay. I'm having an it's up to you moment. So, what could that mean? That means I'm going to cut the deck in three, and then I'm going to pick the middle one, and I'm just going to see which one calls me. I'm so nervous. Transformation. Transformation. Oh, part of me is like, dude, we've been transforming, right? And then part of me is like, wow, that's really exciting. What do we get to transform into now? And I feel, please also you interpret this in your own juicy layers and dimensions, but let's trust what's coming through, because whatever's coming through, it's not just from my own like consciousness, but it's really for all of us. I'm a channel for all of us here in the process. So transformation in 2024 means taking yourself by the hand and knowing that you have layers within you that are ready to be seen. There are layers that have been on for a little too long that must be shed. Transformation is a necessity. Transformation and being open to it is a practice. Transformation is a gift, but more than that, this year it really is a practice. Like it doesn't just, there's so much of this collective, as I'm looking at all of the different months and everything that I've said and everything that's come through, this big theme of it's not just like happening to you. It's really like there's this self-directed, self-propelled energy. How are you advocating for yourself and being uncompromising with yourself? With love and grace and compassion, and knowing that that is precisely the vehicle which will make you more effective, which sounds like a very kind of masculine word, but truly effective in the as part of the transformation, as part of the big shifts that we're moving through. It's like you can either sit there and kind of like wait for the shift to happen and have somebody like put the plate in front of you and go, oh, okay, cool, thanks. And then, well, or you can be part of the transformation of the ingredients. And that happens in the kitchen. And you're transforming things into the new meal. So are you an agent for transformation? So really, it's beyond our own personal transformation. We've already been in this space, like transformation. And by the way, if you're hearing that, I just want to say and hold space for my husband using a device that he uses. It's a computer that he controls with his eyes that helps him communicate and speak. And I don't know if you can hear it or not, but I've heard a couple of things he said. And I'm just holding space for that because it's part of my life and how I've been an agent of transformation and how I wish to continue being an agent of transformation. And that's feels like a tall order because We've gone through so much. Now I'm talking about all of us, by the way. Yes, my husband and I have gone through a lot, but I'm talking about you and me and you. We've gone through a lot. We've gone through a lot. The past few years have like rocked us to the friggin' ugh. Um, so how are we an agent of transformation? And it still applies what I said before, where it's like, well, okay, it's up to you. It's up to me. Not from a like, if whatever we have that looks like, well, other people aren't going to do it, so I should do it. That has kind of like an edge to it. That's not the vibe. If you're feeling that, no judgment. I'll give you, if you honestly, you go, oh, wow, yeah, I do have that in me. No judgment. Just go, interesting. Where's that coming from? What am I afraid of? Is there an ego conversation there? Because the kind of being an agent for transformation is so much about just the exploration of the new unknowns. A new dawn breaks, meaning it's new for all of us. It's new for all of us. We're creating and shifting into new things, and these are way big, like big cycles. But this is a very pivotal year for that because we are at this like turning. And so, how are you choosing to be an agent of transformation, an agent of creation? If a new dawn breaks and the things break around us, systems, disruption, where are you going to stand? How are you going to stand? That's why the self-advocacy and getting to know yourself is so key so that you can stand on solid ground, your own solid little patch of symbolic earth. Because if we're all doing that and coming at it from that perspective, and you make the decision that, yes, I am going to trust myself, period. Then we will we will be able to see the connective tissue of it all a little bit better. But you first have to take that leap of faith into just decide. Use that energies, that Aries energy, the spark starter. The spark starter from nothing to ignition. We've already had a dress rehearsal of that in the past 6 months. We've been in dress rehearsal mode for that. And this is like, okay, on the stage, go time. Being held by this beautiful moon in Aries, again, at the early morning hours of the solstice, this new moon in Aries, the sun in Sagittarius, both playing with Mars in Sagittarius. And I mean, it's all there for us. But this is a very self-directed year. Don't wait for it to happen to you. Don't wait for somebody else to fill your cup. Don't wait for somebody else to give you permission. Don't wait for somebody else to light your torch. We get to do it ourselves, and it's going to look different for each of us. No comparisons, no like pity party, no like, oh, but you know what? In your own way, you have a torch to light, and it's going to look the way it looks like for you. And you know when you are shortchanging yourself. We know that. We feel it. And there are days when we just get to like wallow and be like, things suck and life kind of sucks. But let that not be the majority of the days. Let that be the odd day. Let's lean into, what is the medicine that's going to bring us hope and optimism? What do we like, what's that something that we can feel like, okay. And then that emboldens us to keep going in this very self-directed way. That was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for, as I project this out, and something that occurred is I feel like I'm going to end up sharing this a little bit more broadly, which was not the original intention, but I wanted to go out far and wide. I want to thank you, because the role that I get to play is to be in deep trust, and sort of this fearless energy myself of being detached from the outcome and just diving into a process of exploration. And when I see it that way, it lessens the sting of, I guess before I would have been more afraid of doing something like this, because it's like, oh, well, what if I get it wrong? And then I'm like, it's not really about that. It doesn't feel like that anymore. And that's after a lot of walking in my own magic and practicing and falling flat on my face and getting back up and going through all of it. And I hope you find the points of acknowledging all of that in yourself, acknowledging how far you've come and what you are indeed ready for. It's time to play in a way bigger sandbox. I hope you're up for it. I hope we stay connected. I will be, I'll be back. I'm like floating. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate you, and to be continued. I hope this supported you. I hope you have an incredible ceremony yourself. If you do choose to replicate this for you. And you know where to find me if you want to ask any questions or share anything at all. Be well, my friends. Adios.